time together reviewing the history, the memories, the fun parts of arbitration and the Employee Relations Board. So since I was involved in that, my questions have all been answered, and since my colleagues aren't here, we're going to send you on your way so maybe you can beat the traffic flow.
Thank you, sir.
Back to the ocean community of Santa Monica.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. We'll be looking
Thank
forward
you.
to seeing you on Friday.
Thank you.
Thanks again.
Thank you all. Thank you.
All right, number 2.
The City Administrative Officer is reporting relative to the Los Angeles Regional Interoperable Communication System Staffing Plan. This item was approved by the Public Safety Committee with modifications.
Good afternoon. I think we saw you folks yesterday.
Yes.
Seems like just a few hours ago. And you want some bodies because you want to improve the communication system for public safety. And since Dennis Keene is tired of fighting fires and wants to have an inside staff job.
We're never tired of fighting fires. We just do our best to prevent them, sir. That's all.
That's good. Is that part of the textbook?
No, sir, that's from the heart.
That's from the heart. No, I heard this whole matter and what we need to do. Fire deputy fire chief, which will be you,
Yes, sir.
and police lieutenant 2, and from IT, senior communications engineer, 1 communications engineer. There were more requests, but they didn't get approved. And this is going to come out of the UASI grant and some match from somewhere. So maybe Patricia can give us a little information.
Patty Huber from the CAO.
Patricia, I'm sorry.
Patricia's just fine.
What did I say?
You said Patricia, and I answered to that as well as
Oh,
Patty.
Patricia. Oh, well, you're Patty or Patricia?
Most people here call me Patty.
But you're really Patricia.
That's that's the name I was given when I was born.
There's a thing called identity theft. See, I'm Z-man, and that's Z-woman. Zena and Zine, so we're the Z people. All right, so give us a little glimpse of, just for the people who weren't in public safety on Monday.
Okay. As you indicated, there are 4 positions recommended to be authorized to create the project team for the LA RICS. The city has actually been working on the project using existing staff on a part-time basis, but we've really reached a point where we need staff to be dedicated to this project to ensure that the city's interests are covered during this process. The direct salaries for the positions will be covered by the UASI grant. At this time, we have not located a space for the 4 project team members, and so there may be a cost associated with that, depending on whether GSD can find existing city-owned space versus leased space.
What happened to that thing we talked about, Fig Plaza?
And we have to work with GSD to see if these positions can be slotted in there.
Okay.
If
But
not,
Dennis said we could probably do that, right?
it's possible.
It's possible. We did have some downsizing in Prop F and Q, which vacated some positions, but there's also some restacking going on, so we just have to synchronize all this stuff and make sure we're good with general services.
Because if we could save some money on that lease from the county,
It would save,
$16,000, 16 to 20, something like that.
yeah, aside from that, if we're able to use existing space, there's no office furniture, there's no phones, there's no cabling,
Yeah.
you just kind of a move-in type thing, so we're hoping that'll work.
Okay, I'll continue.
To the extent that we incur lease space or tenant improvement costs, we may have a general fund impact associated with that, but we don't know that number at this point. We would be reporting back on that in the report back that is requested in this report as well,
And this is a 5-year project.
at least 5 years.
Are you on drop?
Yes, sir.
How many more years you have?
2, little over 2.
So what happens to the other 3?
What happens to the other 3? As long as we can get through the design phase of it and just get to where we're starting construction, we'll have somebody else come in. But the critical phase is getting our requirements down for the request for proposals, a good contract, a good design, working with the vendor. We should be in good shape then. And then I'd be willing to come back and help.
I'm sure you would.
For nothing, at any time anybody would
nothing.
call, sure. But I think once, like most places, once you can, they get ready, they want to get ready. You
No,
know?
not here. We regurgitate all the time. I left, came back.
And I might say doing a fine job, but I wouldn't come back as a councilman, sir. I'd
Why not?
probably, well, I'm just not up to the task, you know what it is?
I think you could do fine in that. It's all about dealing with people. Right?
You're the best, sir.
There you go.
There it is.
You got her brainwashed.
Good answer.
David has been brainwashed. We've accomplished that. She's a believer. She's a believer. So what about the PD? We got people that Lieutenant 2, is that going to rotate, or are we going to have some consistency in that spot?
Well, the intent would be to have consistency on it, but we'll have to go out and advertise and bring somebody in who's got those qualifications and that interest to stay in for the long haul.
Because that's the concern I have, is that when we think about the consistency, someone gets in. Now, Dennis, you 30-plus years you're going to be doing?
I've got 33.
33?
35 in the city right now.
Yeah, so, I mean, he's done his time and deserves that pension, but then when you want to have some consistency, because every time someone else comes in, there's that learning curve, and so, and I know we've got the bounce program for I don't know if we have it for the fire, we have it for the police department.
We don't have it for deputy chiefs.
We bounced back Deputy Chief Mike Hillman to the police department. He bounced back to try and get the officers trained for.
But really the critical part of it, Councilman, is getting those specifications down and getting the design done, and if we get after it, we should have those things done before I would be leaving. And that's the important part of it. Like any building a house or anything, you got to have the right design and all those things in place.
And so far, it's been kind of a part-time job for you guys?
It's been what time we have on the weekends and what time we can squeeze in here at work, and that's been it.
So that's not consistent as we need. Are we going to get some more UASI money?
We have UASIO 7 money, and in UASIO 8, the mayor's office is putting in more money for the project, and we've actually focused, it's 60% of our request that we're going to submit is for interoperability.
Right, and that's the region's request. The approving authority that covers the sheriff, everyone in the region has said that 60% of whatever the UASI 08 award would be will go directly to this project. To date, we've accrued $35 million in grants to put towards this project.
Significant amount of money. And we hope the system's going to work?
It'll work.
Not going to have flaws with it? When you retire, where do you plan to live?
Right, same place I'm living right now, just, not far from here.
So we'll be able to hunt you down.
Yes, sir.
Since I worked the fugitive detail, we'll be able to identify where you are.
I'm working on making sure that I don't have identity theft, though, so it could be tough.
Okay, and once we get this approved, it's going to go, wasn't there a request to send it someplace else after our meeting on Monday? Or is this the last stall? Is it going to budget or no?
That was discussed yesterday. We have been working with Parks's staff to see if we can answer his questions, but I'm not sure if we've gotten there yet.
Because isn't there a deadline? We have to meet some deadline?
Well, yes, sir. What we're bumping up against is the PSIC grant, which is a interoperability grant for $22.3 million. That has to be completed by summer of 2010. We're right on the edge of being able to do that.
I remember you mentioned that yesterday. So Mr. Parks hopefully can get this done so we can get it moving forward. Because then you still have to find the other people. Do you have a lieutenant in mind, Tim?
No, sir. We're going to recruit for that.
That's going to take some time.
Yes, but we should be able to do it fairly quickly. I would think that job will be, it would be something pretty easy to fill.
And what about IT?
IT.
You didn't say a word yesterday.
Huh?
You didn't say a word yesterday.
Oh, I didn't get a question yesterday either.
Well, you got one now.
Okay, now I got one.
We don't want to make you feel left out.
We're fortunate that the people that we're trying to fill these positions with are the people that have been involved with the project since day one.
Okay.
Okay, so we're not going to miss a beat.
Okay, so everyone's been working at like part-time.
Yes, sir.
It's amazing.
Got multiple full-time jobs.
Yeah, because this is a huge, huge undertaking. When we talk about communications, and what happened in New York when the communications fell down for everyone. Okay, does anyone in the audience know what UASI means? That's the magic question of the day. UASI. UASI.
Urban area.
No, not you.
Audience.
I said the audience. You're not.
Thought maybe you might want it. How about this, just Homeland Security Grant Program? That'll throw them off.
Urban area. Urban Area Security Initiative. Urban Area Security Initiative. Urban Area Security Initiative, that's what it is, just so you'll know, because we use these buzzwords and
We have
sometimes.
CHISCAP, UASI, PSIC. We're going after them all, Councilman. If there's a grant out there, we're going to get it.
There's an acronym we're after.
That's right. ABC, CBS, NBC, we're going
Whatever.
after them all.
Don't forget Fox and CNN.
That's right.
And then, what about these positions that were scrapped, they deleted a bunch of positions, what about those? Are they necessary or unnecessary, are they gonna come back in another package? What do you think?
We believe that they're not needed at this time.
Okay.
We will continue to assess the project staffing needs as the project moves forward, and if we find that we need those things, we would come forward with a future report.
Okay, so you guys can live without that for now.
Yes, sir.
Are you the ranking member of this group?
Yes, sir.
Fire deputy chief? No, deputy chief's bigger, higher than the battalion chief?
Yes, sir.
So what's after that? What's after deputy?
Fire chief. And as they say, me and the chief has gone as far as we're going to go.
That's what he said before he got it. Doug Berry's doing a good job. I'm sure he's happy with you being there doing this. Okay, so off to the budget and finance. When do they meet? Or is it going to have to go there, or are you going to get questions answered before we go to the council? So we can move forward. We'd like to get some deadline on it.
This matter was not referred to Budget and Finance.
It wasn't? Okay.
And I've been in conversation with Councilman Park's staff, and I don't believe that he's going to request that it be referred. And he did have some issues that he was concerned about, and those issues may have to be addressed in full council. So this is.
So I hate to have it go to full council and have it debated for an hour when we can hopefully get those resolved and expedite it through the council and get things moving. Because if it then gets on the floor and everybody starts asking questions, then you have an hour debate on something that we could hopefully resolve in a quicker conversation. So maybe you could work on that?
We will continue to
We are continuing to work
have
with
conversations with them.
Well, hopefully, we'll get this done sooner than later. So I will make a recommendation, as I did yesterday, to move it to the next step. And you're not gonna have a retirement party then, are you?
No, sir.
We'll just keep on working.
That's right.
I know the feeling. Okay, Dan, thank you. Thank you all for the
Thank you.
information on number 2. And now we're going to get hot breaking news. Item number 5. Who's here on item number 5? Nobody. How about number 6? Number 6. Well, according to Mr. Perry, we can note and file number 6. And number 5, we can receive and file. So when you talk about number 6, green funds, I like that. It's like today's Earth Day, so it's Green Day. So it's cool. So we're going to dismiss you with a note and file. So that's number 6, and number 5, receive and file. So thank Mr. Perry for getting you out of here early. And now we're going to go to number 3. Thank you, Brian. You've been here all day, haven't you?
Yes, sir.
For item number
Here
3.
this morning?
Yes.
You are? I was asleep, so I didn't know. 8 o'clock in the morning. All right.
Are we ready?
Bye,
Ed-
Harry. See you later.
Item number 3, you have a report from the City Administrative Officer. This is relative to Amendment number 1 to Memorandum of Understanding number 26. This is for the Port Pilots Representation Unit, and the the amendment is to provide for the binding arbitration of employee grievances.
Are the port pilots here?
No,
Nope.
they weren't able to make it today, but they are in agreement with this change to the MOU, as is the department.
So this deals with binding arbitration.
Yes, in the Port Pilots MOU, they had advisory arbitration, which is the decision of the arbitrator would go to the Board of Harbor Commissioners. They requested that we now make it binding, so it doesn't get that review.
And everybody agrees with that?
Yes.
Do they have a lot of grievances down there?
They have a fair amount for a very small unit. They have quite a few grievances and unfairs.
Really? So everybody signed off on this, even
Yes, sir.
Zena.
Even Zena.
Well, I know we have binding arbitration.
We just didn't want to wait because they have a very long-term MOU. It doesn't expire until July of 2011.
Which is good.
Yeah, which is good, but we didn't want to wait to make this change.
Was this the only other outstanding issue with them? Or they have other,
They have one pending unfair that deals with 4 or 5 different issues right now, which is before the ERB.
that's amazing. I would think that would be a pretty relative, calm, peaceful.
You would be surprised.
There's only like 11 or 12 of them?
There are 17.
17. And one of them's a chief port pilot. Or is that 18?
There are actually, right now, there are 3 chief port pilots.
So who's the real chief?
The real chief,
They got 3.
that would be, why is his name escaping me?
I mean, do they share that responsibility? Chief?
No, there's 2 chief port pilots, and then there's one
Super chief?
super chief, yeah.
I mean, you gotta have somebody who's.
Jim Morgan is the
supposed to be in
super
charge.
chief.
All right, and these guys make a fortune.
Yes, sir.
I mean, a lot of money. Remember that TV show, Tugboat Annie?
No.
It was a TV show, that's what I think of it.
But I've been watching LA's Port. Have you been watching that?
No. But tugboat, that's what they are, the port pilots. It's like, it's not a tugboat, but it's a port pilot.
Yeah,
But
the
there was a
port,
TV
the
show,
port pilots
Tugboat.
actually get on the actual huge ships and guide them into
Guide
the
them in.
harbor. Yeah,
Which is a massive task, and I know that they're on call in 24 hours, and
yes, they are.
anyway, since 45% of the goods coming into America come through the port of San Pedro,
It's a very important job.
it's an incredibly important job, and they know that, so they really,
That's why we're trying to keep them happy.
well, if we don't, then we shut down the port, and people can't buy their goods and products, and other problems occur with the economy. So I don't know of any option other than to say, we'll abide this. So what this will then mean is the binding arbitration is the final resolve of the grievance.
Yes.
So whatever
Whatever the arbitrator
Arbitrator
decides will be binding on both parties.
and there's a provision they can't take it to court, or they still can take it to court.
Well, they can still take it to court, just as any union can.
But both parties will agree with the arbitrator.
Yes,
That's the agreement. Okay, I hope it works.
so do I.
All righty.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Number 4.
For item number 4, you have the Board of.
Can we have all water and power people come forward, please?
You got it.
No, there's another lady out there in the audience. I want to see everybody up here. You want me to call Mr. David Nahi? I didn't think so. He's in the building. You may have some answers to some questions.
But do
She's
we get
not-
extra points if I know who Tugboat Annie is?
Yeah, you do. You do?
Same person who played Ma Kettle.
Really? Yeah. How about that? Trivia time here.
So are you moving then and we're leaving?
Well, it's inspiring, I will tell you that. You want 7 resolutions.
Those are our board resolutions that cover 13 health plan
Execution. You want execution and resolutions.
execution of our resolutions.
So you're with the.
But not literally.
Not literally. You're with the, what do you call it? The human relations, or not human relations, human.
Close. Human resources.
Human resources. I knew it was in that category. So 1-year period beginning, ending, currently our health and dental has approximately 16,000 active. So what this is gonna do is provide, renewed annually without competitive, you don't do a competitive bid process?
No, we don't, because the providers are embedded in our MOUs, that we will utilize those providers.
The MOUs say these are the health providers. You'll get Kaiser, Pacific Care, Cigna, and so on, right in the MOU.
But what about because like Blue Shield's now coming in trying to get some city business.
We have Blue Shield as well.
Oh, you do, so you have them all?
Well, we have a lot, but they're not all for everybody.
You got Pacific Care,
Right.
you got Kaiser, you got Health Plan of Nevada.
Cigna, Blue Shield,
Right.
and then we use Delta Dental and United Concordia for our dental plans.
Do you ever see that TV commercial, 1-800-DENTIST?
Yes.
I had dinner with that guy last night. He's a real guy.
He-
I mean, he's not an actor, he owns the business.
Oh.
Which I thought was trivia, since we got Delta Dental and Tugboat Annie.
And Ma Kettle.
And Mark Hill. So this is part of the MOU, or this is separate from the MOU?
Well, the providers are part of the MOU.
And what
And the
works?
health plans are embedded in our MOU that we will provide health plans and dental plans for our employees.
Do they have the option every year to switch?
Yes.
If they wish?
There's an open enrollment period that's coming up that they can switch during that period.
From one of the approved plans.
Right.
$18.7 million for retired employees on the Blue Shield.
No.
That's an annual cost
That's the projected cost for
1 year?
that year, yeah.
Mercy. And this all comes out of the Department of Water and Power?
Correct.
Kaiser, $25.7 million for retired employees. No impact on the general fund.
No impact.
Very nice. Well, we need health care. Definitely need health care for everyone. Okay, controversial on this, union supported, the employees supported, everybody supports it?
Yes.
So we're gonna recommend today is approval, so we can continue this through '09. But I thought the contract went past '09.
The contract does, but we have to bring these to you every year. So you'll see us again, same time next year.
Really?
The healthcare providers won't provide long-term price quotes. They just won't, because they don't know what the costs, their needs, what's happening in the community.
So the rates went up this year over last year, do we know how much?
Yes, they went up, healthcare alone went up 7.2%, which is really favorable considering, I have the statistics if you like.
I think other city departments, 7.3.
7.3, 8.8 was the average in the Los Angeles area. State of
8.3?
8.8.
8.8.
State of California average is 9.5% increase, and the national average is 8.0. That would be for just health coverage for active employees, because that's usually what the surveys cover.
Right.
Health care for active.
So then next year we'll be back with new numbers.
Right.
So for the 5-year contract with Water and Power, this will continue. Do they ever reach out to any other providers that may be available?
They typically don't. We have our healthcare consultant, Mercer, kind of keeps their finger on the pulse of the providers out there and how good they are, and if there were something that they thought that we should change for, that would be better for the department or the employees or whatever, they would advise us of that.
So
But
for next season, they could come out and add something, but.
they could recommend that, and then we would, of course, evaluate whether we want to do something like that.
And then we would have to meet and confer with the labor organizations if we're going to make an adjustment.
Right. Even if national health care were to come in, for example, and let's say it was a better deal, let's say it's a really great plan and a good deal for the department, that may be something that they would recommend that we tie into as well.
And is there a copay from employees, or is this all subsidized by the Water and Power?
It is all subsidized by Water and Power with the exception of our Cigna plan. The department subsidizes up to the Kaiser employee and family rate, which is the same as the city does. And typically all of these health providers stay at or below the Kaiser family rate. This year, for the first time, Cigna has gone above the family rate, and therefore employee and one eligible dependent for Cigna would have to pay $26.16 a month, and employee and family would be $73.29 a month. But everybody else is covered.
Now, how do these rates compare, maybe someone knows, to the other city rates for our other city employees? Does anyone know?
The benefit levels are different. You're not comparing apples to apples necessarily.
Well, the police and fire have plans, then we have for civilian employees, Water and Power. What about airport? See, I look at it when you go bulk buying, like you go to Costco.
Right.
You buy that, huge box of whatever. You're gonna pay a reduced rate, reduced price. With this, since I know we've got Kaiser.
I believe you have Kaiser and Blue
I think you have
Cross, I
plans-
think.
more plans than other city groups.
You might, we,
You know all this stuff. You're like second in
This
command
sounds
over
like
there.
Yes, they do have more plans than the city offers. The city offers Kaiser and Blue Cross and a PPO and an HMO model.
And that's it.
That's it. In terms of the per employee per month costs, the plan designs are different if they're not having any copay structures and
Oh, you don't have a copay?
We do, in Kaiser, there's no copay to see a doctor. They do pay a copay for prescription drugs. Cigna and Pacific Care do have a $3 and a $5 copay.
So the medical
So-
plan with Raw and Power is nicer than it is, better than it is with other.
yes.
And we had at one point, actually twice, and since I've been involved with this, we have asked the city if they wanted to kind of participate, in tandem, but we have a much higher utilization rate.
You do?
Yeah. And, pardon?
Yeah.
Yeah, because of the
They
copay.
don't want to join their risk pool.
Yeah, so that's basically, yeah.
Because
Yeah.
They got a bad risk
cost
pool?
too much, yeah.
You have,
Well, because when you don't have a copay, then you go to the doctor for anything, if you have a hangnail, gee, I think I'll stop in Kaiser and, get it taken.
eventually, if things keep going the way they'll go, you'll be having copays
Well,
and higher deductibles.
We would assume so, yes.
yeah,
Pardon me?
Yes, we would assume that that's going to happen.
Oh, it's inevitable.
yeah.
Okay, Tom, what do you think about this one? Should we all join Water and Power?
These health plans are in their HMO, in their labor
No, I know,
agreements.
I understand that. I'm looking at the bigger picture of some kind of even
As a
though,
longer-term strategy, is there a recommendation? that you-
well, even though there's, like, if you have Kaiser, we have Kaiser for city employees, for police and fire. If it's Kaiser, it's Kaiser. There's only so many Kaiser hospitals.
But it's Kaiser, different plan designs.
Yeah,
Different
yeah, it's
Kaiser-
plan design is
The plan
the
design
problem.
element, which drives cost, and so, their plan design doesn't have an office visit copay, for example. We think a $10 office visit copay is completely out of step with the market today, because most private plans and most other governmental plans are at 25.
And $10 is not, that's like.
And $10
two
is not,
Starbucks.
$10 is no longer an economic disincentive to go to the doctor.
No, it's not.
Zero, obviously, is an economic incentive to go to the doctor. So, longer term, I think once their labor agreements open up, this is a verifiable good subject to go bargain on. And I would hope they would do so. In terms of having a multiplicity of plans, makes sense if you're gonna offer a multiplicity of plan designs, but it doesn't necessarily make sense in terms of aggregating volume. Now, aggregating volume of a bunch of high utilizers is not necessarily a good thing either. So.
I'm just thinking though, if we've got different plans within Kaiser, different plans within Blue Cross, while we don't have all these other plans for the other groups of city employees, if there was some type of negotiation to say, okay, this Kaiser plan is gonna be at this rate, this Kaiser plan will be at this rate, and if you have more numbers, it's just like cell phones. I have cell phones, another office has cell phones, city has tons of cell phones. We may have 5 different cell phone providers. If we had one, maybe the rates would be different, but more competitive. That's what I'm looking at, to save some dollars, as we keep talking about the dollar shrinking, and obviously health costs, if it's going up 9.5% in California, it's a huge number.
And the real question is, who do you get by joining? For example, if you join their risk pool and they have a lot of people who have a lot of long-term illnesses and go to the doctor a lot because they don't have a copay structure, then what happens is their costs come down and the city's costs go up by virtue of aggregating in one risk pool. If the civilian Kaiser plan, for example, joined the police Kaiser plan, where arguably we have the most fit and healthy police officers,
I'll vote for that one.
then conceptually, the city's costs would come down and police reliefs would go up, because police relief would be aggregating our, relatively speaking, unhealthy population.
I see. Well, it's just an idea. When it comes up for review next time, I think maybe we can compare some of those. I just think buying bulk saves money somehow, and co-pays eventually for you folks.
Getting the biggest risk pool makes sense as long as the risk pool is relatively healthy.
So the younger, the fewer claims, the older, the more claims.
Our average age is 45 years. Our average employee is 45 years old, so it's an aging workforce.
Higher than that. It's higher than that.
I don't know what the city's is. Pardon?
It's higher than that. It's a little bit higher than that.
46? Oh, it keeps fluctuating, but.
You're 46? Where are we with the city? It is? I mean, just look at this room.
Yeah.
Just because I said I knew who Ma Kettle was, doesn't mean that.
That's why.
Kelly, look at Kelly
Somebody
saying,
below 30.
Kelly, you're an exception. Okay, a couple exceptions back there. That's some of the exceptions. Well, I'm pushing 70, so I know how it feels. But still relatively healthy at 70. Pretty good. I'm pushing it, I haven't gotten there yet. Okay.
Part of the good portion of the risk pool.
The what?
Police release plan is that you stay very healthy until you qualify for Medicare and then become the federal government's problem.
All the taxpayers will.
So the people in Iowa pay for you.
They'll bear the burden of that. All right, what are issues you folks have outstanding with contracts and MOUs with water and power? Or is this the,
You mean MOUs that we're still in negotiation with?
Yeah, they're all done?
No, we still have Management Employees Association that I believe is still outstanding. I don't believe we have another one. I think everything else is settled.
for the 5-year plan?
Yes.
So that's 5 years apiece. That's why we haven't seen but Brian D'Arcy around.
We're good until 2010.
Okay. That'll be a good year.
To retire?
Yeah. Okay, so anything you'd like to comment? Because you're obviously at the table to say something.
No, sir.
You know, David's in the building, by the way.
Thank you.
He had a whole entourage of people.
Oh.
He was on the 4th floor.
Even the high?
David Nahai, yeah, the general manager of Water and Power. I just wanted to let you know that.
Okay.
So if you see him, you can say, I knew you were in the building too.
Thank you.
But you're a good representative for the Water and Power, so I just wanted to pick on you a little bit because I
You
didn't
guys
get
get that part on
today.
tape?
It's on tape.
Okay. thank
Good
you.
representative of Water and Power?
It's on tape and it's also on the Granicus.
It's always on tape, isn't it?
It's always on tape, and now we have an additional recording.
Well, good, we'll keep that. Miss Yancey. Okay, so we're set with that, we're gonna send it forward, and it doesn't have to go anyplace else? Council, okay. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
And our next and final item is number 7.
For item 7, what you have before you is a report from the Commission on the Status of Women. This is relative to young women at risk evaluation and execution of future professional service contracts with independent
Kelly.
contractors.
Kelly.
Hello.
Kelly Hawkins is here.
Jeez.
What do you want to do with this, Kelly?
So what we're going to do is use the 20,000 that's under the county's grant
Yep.
to pay for the evaluation piece, understanding that this evaluation, that this program most likely will not stay in the Commission on the Status of Women. We directed the evaluator to pretty much revise her scope of work to kind of fit where, once you all begin your evaluation of all the other gang reduction programs, you will be able to actually use this as a tool that can support your work. So she diligently has been working without a signed contract. And so wrapping up the work is pretty much, that's why we're ending June 23rd of '08. The contract was started in August 2008 and was to go till June 23rd, 2008. We didn't have her stop, or the previous leadership didn't have her stop, because if she would have stopped, they would have created a lag in the information gathering. And so when I came on board, I just said, I'll try my best, but because there's no definite agreement here, but I can attest she has met with my staff here at the commission. So I'd like to recommend that we pay the $20,000. The $10,000 that was going to come out of the general fund, I just don't think that it's fiscally responsible right now for us to do that. So we'll go with the $20,000 out of the grant and wrap this up.
And that'll give us the,
That will basically give you a curriculum that's ready to go. They've already pretty much tested to see where the knowledge base is of the students in terms of, are they catching on to the material that's being provided? Are they actually, is there some type of change in attitudes as it relates to the curriculum that's delivered throughout the school year. And so we have seen a positive increase in that, but I think what we've been missing are the outcome measurements. But because we've been consistently changing the curriculum and now holding it steady for the first year to see if, is this really working for our students? I'm confident in the curriculum at this point that whether it stays in the commission or if it goes to another department or to the mayor's office, that it actually can serve those students appropriately. There is a level of cultural competency that is put in the curriculum itself. So I think we're definitely being served well by the evaluator.
and how do you determine that 20,000 is the appropriate amount to pay?
20,000 was what was allocated from the county's MOU for an evaluation.
I mean, do we get $20,000 worth of service, or is it like, hey, 20,000 sounds like a good
20,000 for the evaluation.
Yeah, but is that in the ballpark, too much, too low?
It's actually kind of low.
It is.
Yeah.
So it's,
I mean, she literally has been with my staff at least, once a week. So for a whole year, really, she's been doing this work.
and it'll be a comprehensive evaluation to give us the guidelines we need. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Kelly, you're doing a fine job.
By the way, while I'm here on the mic, Denim Day is tomorrow. Please make sure you wear your jeans.
Well, we've been announcing that all over the place. I'll be wearing my Harley outfit. And my Harley outfit is denim. Option, the chaps are optional.
Turn my mic off now.
All right, that's it for now. Thank you very
Okay,
much. And no
thanks.
public comment because there's no cards on file. Concluded at this brisk time of